Welcome to my free webinar on course creation. Thank you so much for being here. That means a lot to me. That means that, by seeing my messaging in some places, you got that sparkling light inside you that got your attention and your interest. And I'm here because I want to give you in this webinar some major tips and also steps that you can use to start to start to create your first online course. So, as you can hear from the sentence I just said, I said your first online course, meaning that what I'm going to teach you is something that is going to be particularly useful for you if that's your first experience in creating and publishing a first online course. I'm Katiuscia Baggio, and maybe you know me already, maybe that's the first time you see me. I live in Asolo, which is a lovely small town at the top of the hills in the Veneto region, not so far from Venice. Basically, I built my career in a consortium of 36 American universities. It's called CIMBA, and it's located here actually in Italy, and it's a business and leadership school. I started to work for CIMBA when I was 26 years old back in 2001. And year after year, I had the gift, to become more and more experienced in the coaching and leadership training fields. Particularly, you have to know that from 2001 until 2007, actually, in CIMBA, I was not really teaching. I was not being on stage, meaning that I became at a certain point responsible for the executive education area, meaning that I was in charge for all the training programs for executives, entrepreneurs, companies. So I was building those courses. I was going to promote them, but I was not going to teach. Basically, just long story short, in 2005, I had the opportunity at CIMBA to do the MBA, the Master in Business Administration. Finally, my English was kind of robust enough, to do that program entirely in English. So I started. I took all the classes here in Italy with the people from all around the world. And then I finished my MBA in the US at the University of Kansas. And that was back in 2005. Then, I thought to myself, and now what? Meaning that I was happy about my job, I was happy about what I got from my MBA, but I was not sure about what to do, in the future in my life. I thought that the MBA was going to give me an answer, was going to probably tell me, okay, you might want to be a manager in a corporation in the future, or, you want to work in the marketing fields. After the MBA, I realized that this was not actually what I wanted to do. A year after, in 2006, CIMBA gave me another enormous opportunity. They asked me if I was willing to become a coach. And I said yes. So they sent me to London, and I studied in a school in London. At the time, it was called Results Coaching System. Now it's called Neuro Leadership Institute. And that's where I became a coach, basically from 2006 until recently, from time to time, I was going back to London to take more and more courses, more and more training. This allowed me to become in 2009 also an ICF coach, meaning that I got the accreditation from the International Coach Federation, first as an associate certified coach, and then back in 2017 as a professional certified coach. This gave me also another amazing opportunity at CIMBA to start to train new coaches. So I was teaching in an ICF program, and I was doing my job as a coach with executives, entrepreneurs, corporations. I was still in charge of the executive education area, so I was having a kind of managerial role also. But guess what? At a certain point in my life, I felt that, little call that then was becoming greater and greater, that it was time for me to do something else. Something else didn't mean to change my field, because by becoming a coach, I got the gift to really understand that helping others to develop their potential is what I want to do in my life. But I felt the need to build something that was mine, felt the need to go out of my comfort zone. I felt the need to become somehow an entrepreneur. So back in March 2019, I finished my full-time job at Chimba. I decided to quit and to start my new life, first of all as a freelance, and now more and more as an entrepreneur, meaning that I'm building my online academy, which is based on a book that I published last year, Improvise and Succeed. And I'm building more and more courses also. My first online course actually was born in 2019. I decided to do it in Italiano to honor my mother tongue language, and also to experiment how it was, to do an online course. So I did it, and then I created 2 more courses for Udemy in English, and now I also build my online academy on a website which is called teachable.com. I'm sharing all of this to share with you what was my story, okay? Because it could be that you are pretty much in the same phase I was years ago, where you felt that little voice, that day by day is becoming greater and greater, and it's telling you that maybe you should do something different, something new in your life. Or it could also be that you are absolutely happy with what you are doing in your everyday life, and you are just looking for alternative ways to share what is your knowledge, what is your expertise, your know-how with the entire world, or just with a specific audience you have in mind. So, welcome to my online course creation program one more time. The first thing I invite you to focus on, is to ask yourself, what is my why? Why do I want to start to create an online course? What is really the biggest motivation that is pushing me to do so? It could be that at this stage you're going to tell me, look, my dear Katyusha, I don't have actually a strong motivation yet. I'm just curious, I'm just here to listen what you have to share. What I invite you to do now is to pause for a few seconds this video and ask yourself, what is my why? Go ahead and write down what are the first answers that are going to pop up into your mind. Now that you took the time to explore what is your why, how are you feeling? Maybe you say, look, I felt exactly like I felt a few minutes ago. Maybe, on the other hand, you started to feel some new ideas, some new links, that are going to show up in your mind. If this is happening, okay, let's go from here to what is the next step. The next step when you are planning to build an online course is to think about, of course, what is it I'm going to teach? What is it I'm going to offer in my course? Could be that it's something related with what is your professional experience. Could be that it's something related with the know-how, the expertise that you develop over these past few years. So it's a result, on the other hand, of a long career that you might have. Could be that it's not related at all with your job, and it's a passion you have. It's a hobby. You have to know that actually right now in the entire world, the most successful online courses are courses that are going to teach people how to play piano, how to play a guitar, okay? So the hobby side is not secondary at all. With this in mind, I invite you now to pause again this video and write down what is it you could teach to people. Go ahead and do it. Now that you spent some time to reflect on your motivation, on your why, and what could be the topic of your course, the next step in the course creation journey is usually to identify who is your audience. Who are the people that will be the lucky people that will benefit from your course? Again, it could be an audience that you have in mind because of your professional experience. It could be you don't have immediately, in mind who could be your audience. So this is a very important opportunity you have to think about who are my students. When you study, online course creation, they usually teach you that at this point, the more specific you are, the more successful, very likely, your course is going to be. Meaning that, for example, if I say I'm going to teach how to give and receive effective feedback to all the managers in this world, guess what? Probably my audience is a little bit too generic. I should say I'm going to teach effective feedback to the middle level manager that need to go into the next level in their career. This is already a little bit more specific, okay? At the same time, I don't want you to stress too much at this point because I know how difficult it could be, also from not just based on my experience, but from all the people that are taking my online course creation course right now. It's difficult to identify a specific segment, a specific audience. So it is a step that you might do in the future. You don't need to do it necessarily now. But it's a moment that I invite you anyway to take now. Pause the video and answer the questions. Who is going to be my audience? Go ahead and write this down. Very good. Welcome back. Another important aspect in the course creation is related to what you're going to offer. Meaning that right now, in these days, teaching and sharing just knowledge is not enough. It's actually an old way of teaching, to people because think about years and years ago. Having the opportunity to access to information, it was quite expensive. Right now, with all the tools we have, with the web, with all the resources, knowledge is basically almost free, 100%. There are famous universities all around the world in the United States. They build fantastic websites. One of these is actually EDX, that I invite you to explore if you don't know it yet. It's basically an association of very famous American universities, and they are teaching courses for free. They are offering stuff that years ago you would have paid a fortune for that. Now it's entirely accessible freely. So I'm giving you this example just to prove a point, just to say that knowledge is not enough. Actually, if you are going to build an online course and you're just teaching and sharing knowledge, very likely your course is not going to be that successful. I'm saying all of this to say what? That in your course is fundamentally important that you're going to focus on what could be the transformational journey that your students will have from the beginning until the end of your course. Imagine how your students will start your course. Imagine them going through all your units, all your lessons. How are they going to be at the end? What are going to be able to do in their life that actually are not able to do it now? Even if you're going to teach how to play a piano, for example, or how to cook, specific food, don't focus just on sharing the steps, on sharing the information. Focus also on giving your students, your audience, that kind of concrete opportunity that they don't have right now because they are not enrolled in your course yet, but that they will have at the end. So you might understand already that this aspect is very important, especially from an emotional standpoint, because what you should offer to your audience is not a course that give actually to them an improvement. At the end of my course, you will become better in doing this and that. That sounds a little bit boring, right? I don't want to improve. I want to have an opportunity for my life. So when you shape your course, keep this in mind. Okay? So pause the video now and ask yourself, what could be that opportunity that I'm going to offer to my students? Go ahead and write this down. And don't worry if you don't have a specific answer. Just go ahead with what is popping up to your mind. Okay? Let's do it. Another important component part in your online course is how are you going to call it? What is the title you give to your course? The title, as you probably understand already without me saying it, is very important because it's what is going to catch the attention of your potential students. So when you're going to create the title of your course, it's very important that you're going to be succinct, that you use verbs that are going to indicate as much as possible what is that you are teaching, who is your audience, and what are the benefits that your students will have at the end. And wow, we started only a few minutes ago. Think about what you've done so far. You focus on your why, on your motivation. You focus on also why you are here, why you are listening to me. You focus on what would be the topic of your course. You focus on what is that you're going to offer to your students that is not going to be just an improvement, but is going to be an opportunity. From now on, usually the steps you take on the course creations are going to be related to how you're going to create the layout of your course. Usually when you publish an online course, and it's not important, if you're going to build your own school or you're going to publish your course on famous marketplaces like could be Udemy or other sites, similar to him. What is important is how you're going to shape your course. So it's not going to be overwhelming. Not going to create videos that are going to last for so long that your students got bored. So what they usually suggest in course creation is that you're going to shape your content so that your course is going to be offered with a series of units. Imagine the units are just the major chapters you might have in a book. Each unit is a milestone, is an important step that allow your students to have that transformational journey. Remember, we were talking before, that's very important. So at the end of every unit, your students should be able to do something that he was not able to do before. So it's a progressive learning process. It's a cumulative learning process. You start by teaching the most simple concepts and skills, and then step by step, you're going to increase the level of complexity. Once you have done that, you're going to identify for each unit what are your lessons. Okay, so the lessons in a unit is like all the subparts you have in a chapter. So how could you shape every single unit of your course so that step by step, with the lectures, with the lessons that you're going to build, you're going to lead slowly, smoothly your students from one step to another one. Okay. For example, in the course I built, the first unit was about how to give feedback in an effective way. All the lessons were actually related with all the steps that were leading the students to apply the kind of methodology that I was sharing. Usually in every unit, you should have also an intro where very briefly you're going to give a summary of what is the unit about. And then at the end of each unit, you should have a video where you're going to give to your students a final message, where you're going to provide a very short summary about what they have done, what they have learned so far, and what could be the next step. So this is the logic you have to use on course creation. If it's your first course, I strongly suggest you to buy something that is going to last in total between 45 minutes and an hour, because otherwise it could be something that is going to be overwhelming for you. So if you're going to create a course that is going to last an hour, you might have inside of your course between 3 and 5 units, where slowly, step by step, progressively, you're leading your students, your audience, in what is their transformational journey. At the end of your course, make sure you play a little bit on the emotional side as well. For example, you're teaching your students how to play the piano. At the end of your course, go ahead and put the accent of what could be possible for them in their life, because now they can actually start to play the piano, even if they started from zero. And you don't need to tell them what they are going to do. You need to ask them, right? And this is a powerful coaching questions you can ask, so that by listening to your question, your students start to envision what they are going to do, that they didn't do it so far. And guess what? Their level of satisfaction at the end of the course is even going to be higher. This is not a manipulation. This is actually a favor you give to them, because you help them to envision what they can do to apply concretely, their course. Speaking about applying, an important aspect is also inviting your students in every unit to do a concrete activity, so that they are not just listening to what you are teaching, but immediately after your lessons, they have a call, they have an invitation from you to apply in their everyday life what they just did. For example, again, in my effective feedback course, I invited my students at the end of Unit 1 to apply immediately the 4-step methodology I was teaching to give feedback. So I invite them to identify 2 or 3 people in their life, in the place where they were working, so that in 1 week they were going to exercise, they were going to practice what they learned. Then I asked them also to reflect on their experience. I was asking them some questions so that they were going to focus on the actions they put in place, and they were going to learn something about themselves, something about other people's reactions. And from this learning, they were going also to establish new actions they were going to do. This is another powerful coaching technique, that you can use not just if you're going to create an online course, but also, for example, if you manage people, if you lead people, and you're going to have, let's say, reflective meetings about something that happened, about a project that you just finished, with your team. So again, the most important aspect on a successful online course today is not just teaching, is actually the doing. So the implementation part is very important. Inside of your course, at the end of each unit, they strongly suggest also to create some activities that are going to challenge a little bit your students. It could be that you're going to create a test with multiple choices. It could be that you invite your students to create a new project, okay? So the doing side in an online course is very important. At this point, let's talk about what you could do to record your course, right? We started with the motivation, your audience. What is that you have to do to record your course? A lot of people got stuck here. They're scared about what this step, the recording side, is going to imply. They assume that for an online course, they need to buy an expensive video camera, they need to have very sophisticated lights, they need to have a very cool, background. Stop for a moment now and observe what I have behind me. I have nothing, okay? I choose to have a neutral wall, and this is typically the wall I use for all the online courses I build. And not just to brag, but so far I have 26,000 students on Udemy. So those 26,000 students, they were not caring that much about what I have in my wall, right? They were more caring about what I was teaching. So, long story short, to teach an effective online course, you just need a video camera that could be easily your smartphone, as I'm using actually now. You need just 1 or 2 lights that will improve, the lighting aspect. You need a microphone, which you can buy on Amazon with, an average, let's say, amount of money, around 50 euros. And this is all you need. Maybe you are surprised now, right? But that's actually what you need just to start to create your first online course. Then in the future, when you master all the steps, when you know how to do it, when you're going to build not just your first online course, but you're going to build more and more programs, You can increase, the quality of your video camera, of the lighting, all of that stuff. But for now, for just starting, what you need is really basic. So going ahead with all the steps you need to put in place to create and publish your first online course, once you are done with your recording, meaning that you film, you record all of your video lessons, and you can choose actually in those video lessons if you are going to show your face like I'm doing now, or you can also use slides, for example, that you might already have or that you are going to build. So you don't even need to show your face if you don't want. You can just go ahead and record your voice over your slides. You can also use a mix of the two systems. You can share your face in some portion of your course. You can use some slides. I suggest you to use both, frankly speaking, because showing your face in an online course is important because it helps you to create rapport with your students in a more quick way. It helps you to create that kind of connection, that is useful to have especially when you're teaching online. So once you're done with the recording side, you're going ahead with the next step. The next step I usually follow when I create a course is that I'm going to download all the videos from my iPhone to my Mac. You can use another kind of smartphone. You cannot have a Mac, have another kind of system. It's not really that important because the steps are pretty much the same. So you're going to download everything. You're going to do the video editing, now you can do it with very simple and often free software you can also find online. You're going to cut, you're going to adjust your videos, and so that you prepare them to be ready to be uploaded on what is the online platform that you're going to choose. What's the meaning of the online platform? It could be that you're going to make a decision to publish your course with a huge marketplace like Udemy, for example, where you're not having your own school. So to say, you are renting your course to Udemy. Udemy is going to make all the marketing activities, is going to sell your course for you, and then it's going to get a percentage every time the website is going to sell, okay? And of course, this is not necessarily the best way. This is not necessarily the only way. I do suggest you, if you are starting, to do what I did. Okay, I started with publishing my first course on a marketplace. First one was an Italian website company. It's called lifelearning.it. Then I built 2 more courses in English this time for Udemy. Okay, this gave me the opportunity to practice, to learn how to build courses, to understand how this world is working. And then last year, I decided to build my own online academy. Of course, from an income standpoint, you make more when you are going to have your own school, okay? But at the same time, I can absolutely guarantee you, if you have 10, 20, 50 courses on Udemy, that could be a very interesting source of income as well, okay? The two aspects, having your course on a marketplace and building your online schools, are not mutually exclusive. Actually, in my case, are part of the same strategy, because by having my courses published on Life Learning, Udemy, and other marketplaces, I have new students, almost every week, that are going to see my courses. They're going to enroll. Then those students, not all the times, but often, they're going to search for me on LinkedIn, Facebook. They connect with me. They become part, of my school. And they become part of my community, especially now that, I published my book with Amazon last year in Italiano first and then in English. This kind of online courses on marketplaces like Udemy is going to be a funnel for me, okay? Because it's like a strategic way I have to catch the attention of people from all around the world and then show them also what else I could offer, to them. So do not think that you need to make immediately the decision where you're going to publish your course. The strong recommendation I have for you is that if you feel you have this call that if you feel that creating a self-paced online course is something you want to test, just do it. Start. Do not wait until you make the decision about what are the technology tools you're going to use, what is the platform you're going to choose, etc., because otherwise, I can guarantee you will never start. These are decisions that you can make along the way. Okay, it's not that you need to know everything immediately now. You can also change your mind. And the beauty of this online world is also that there is a lot of flexibility. For example, I published 2 courses on Udemy. And unless you make an agreement with Udemy that you're going to publish their courses also on a special field they have that they can offer to companies, executives, unless you do that, you have the freedom to publish your courses also on every other platform you want. So, for example, you could build a small course, 45 minutes, an hour course for Udemy, so that it's going to be like an appetizer, so to say. And then you can tell all of the students that are going to enroll in the Udemy course, hey, I have an extending course on my online school. Would you like to take it? You see how Udemy is going to be the first step for you. It's going to be your first funnel to bring more and more students. And this is going to be very strategic. Also, if you are not an online course creator, like in my case, because you are a coach or a trainer, but you do it, for example, because you want to build some kind of presentation to show how to use a specific product, an online tutorial that could be useful for your company, for example. There are so many applications, okay, that you can use. Even if you decide to build your own online school, there are so many options now that lots of people got stuck, actually. For example, in my case, I decided to build my online school on teachable.com. On teachable.com, I have my own school. Teachable is going to take just a small percentage every time I sell a course, but all the rest is mine. Teachable is not going to do the marketing and the sales for me. I have to do everything, okay? That's the meaning of having your own online school. There are so many other options like Thinkific, Newsletter, Podia, etc. And since I'm part in Facebook groups of people that are building courses, I see how often course creators get stuck because they cannot choose, should I choose Teachable, should I choose Podia? And they spend like weeks, doing this. Let me tell you something. The platform you use for your online school at the beginning, it's not so important. Choose something that is cheap, hopefully that give you free hosting, okay, until a certain number of courses you have, so you can start slowly. You're not going to pay for stuff actually that is not going to sell for you yet. Then when you grow your business, when you build more courses, when you are more skilled in this area, you can make the decision to change your school because you might see that, for example, Thinkific is offering you more marketing options than Teachable, but vice versa, all of these kind of things. So, long story short, don't spend too much in exploring options. Just choose an option that is cheap, that makes sense for you, and start. As soon as you made the decision where you're going to publish your course, and even if you decide to publish it, for example, with Udemy or other marketplaces like Udemy, you can still do activities that are related with marketing and promotion, okay? Because if you're going to sell courses using your unique link, you get like much higher per percentage, okay? So Udemy, yes, is going to take care of the selling and the marketing process, but you're called to do something to sell your course as well, because it could be, especially in the initial phase, that your course, unless it's super interesting, is not going to sell by itself. You need to push it a bit, okay? So how are you going to promote your course? First of all, you need to choose all the social channels you do have. Facebook, LinkedIn, if you have an email list, for example, of people, you need to build messages, content that are going to talk about what what is the topic of your course, what you're teaching, and then you can offer people to go on a more deep level by enrolling in your course. The most successful strategy so far to sell an online course is to pre-sell it. What's the meaning of that? Meaning that you're going to decide what you're going to teach, okay? You don't start to build your course yet. You can start to build some units here and there, but even not that actually necessarily. Once you have an idea about your course topic, you're going to do an exploration, so to say. You're going to ask some people in your network that could be part of your audience if they would be interested in taking a course like that. Based on the response you get from the market, you're going to decide if you're going ahead or not. If you have 2-3 people that say, hey, I could be interested in that, that's an interesting sign, okay? That's a sign that you might have a market, okay, for your course. So what is it I suggest you to do? You engage with these people, you ask them questions. For example, what is that you would like to get out of this course? What are the outcomes that you are looking for? So that you are going to collect precious information from these people that will help you to shape and build the content of your course. Of course, you can sell your course also by having, ads on Facebook, on Google, on LinkedIn, but I strongly suggest you to do it on a second step because, especially if this is your first experience, I recommend you to use all the free tools you have. People in your network, your friends, your co-workers, people on your social media. Once you see that you might have a market for the course that you're building, then it makes sense that you're going to invest money also on Facebook ads and stuff like that. But if you do it at the beginning without even knowing yet the ABC in this field, the risk is that you're going to invest money and you get zero in return. This is what I did. This was part of the mistakes, I put in place that are also part of the process. But since I experienced that, this is what I feel I should suggest you to do. I want to share with you also that just because I publish my courses on Udemy, and I didn't have with them any specific agreement that the courses were going to be shown just on Udemy, this gave me the freedom to publish my courses in all the other places I wanted. So I published them in my online academy and I mixed them with my coaching support. So people can buy, my courses, but they have also the opportunity to talk with me, to work with me as a coach. And this, of course, is a plus, and this is an opportunity they don't have if I take just the courses that Udemy, is offering. What happening after a few months I published my course with Udemy? Every single week I have 1 or 2 new online platforms that is contacting me saying that they saw my courses on Udemy, they really like it. Of course, the fact that I have 26,000 students is a plus, but they, independently from the number of students, they see if you have a good, feedback, a good review. They're going to watch some free videos on Udemy that are part of your course. And they are going to contact you, asking you if you want to publish their courses also on their new online platform. So what do you have to lose at the end? Nothing. This is just an amplification of the opportunity to have your courses published in so many online platforms. So if a person is going to Google your name, guess what? Your name appears in so many places that people say, wow, Miss Katiuscia Baggio is publishing courses not just on Udemy, but also on Skillshare, Simpliv, etc., etc. That means that she must be good in what she's doing, That's the mental association that people make. Okay, we are almost at the end of this webinar. And what I'm asking you to do now is to pause again this video for a few minutes and answer this question. What are the 3 major outcomes I got from this webinar? Question number 1. Question number 2, how am I going to apply in my life these 3 outcomes? go ahead, pause this video, take your time, and answer these questions. So in this webinar so far, I share with you what was my why, what was my major motivation, and what are the steps that I invite you to take or that I invite you to start to consider in building your first online course. As you probably imagine, I'm going to talk with you now about the online course I built where I help people to create and publish their first online course. So in this online training I built, you have the opportunity to study when you want, okay, because it's self-paced. Having said that, I do open the enrollment and then the course is going to start on a specific date and it's going to finish on a specific date. I'm going to release each unit not at the same time, but week by week, sometimes in between one unit and the other one. There are also 4 weeks because people need more time to do what I invite them to do. So it's a self-paced online course, but you have the opportunity to follow a schedule that I give you that will maximize the probability that in 2 months, okay, you will have your online course done and also publish in somewhere on the web if you want. You can choose to publish with Udemy, with other marketplaces. You can also decide to build your online school. I will assist you step by step in doing what I've done so far and in the implementation of on a more deep level of all the steps that have been explained to you here. You can also choose to have more individual coaching support from my side. My individual coaching support is going to be offered with the support I give you via email, via chat, and also via phone calls, okay? As you will see, there are several options that you can choose to buy. If you decide to invest more, you will have more coaching support from my side. On the other hand, even if you decide to enroll and go for the minimum amount of money, don't worry about that because I will do my best to make you succeed. And make you succeed means reach your goal, okay? Reach your goal in this case means what? Having your course at the end of the training done and ready to go. Unless you say, look, my dear Kathy, I prefer to slow down. I go ahead with my own pace. I don't care if my course is not going to be published in 2 months. Even in that case, I will always give you my support, okay? You have also the possibility to get your money back. Let's suppose you enroll and you're not satisfied with what you get, with what you see. You have 30 days to ask for reimbursement, okay? And I will be, of course, not happy if you do that, but I will be even more unhappy if you're not happy with my stuff. So I will be the first one to say, hey, what's happening here? And then if you're not happy, to give your money back, okay? There are also payment plans. You can choose if you're going to buy the course, in one solutions, or you're going to split the amount of money in a small payment you're going to do each month. You have this webinar in this page, okay? This webinar will be always available to you. I made it automated, I made it recorded to be aligned with my own philosophy now to build automation as much as possible. So in this page, you can also have all the information that are related with my course. All the information are indicated below this video. You have the content of my course, you have all the units, you have the dates when every single unit is going to be released, you have the options for the investment that you're going to choose, and you have also your payment plans. And you have, of course, the important features which is related that you can be reimbursed if you're not happy. You can enroll directly in this page. My school Unteachable, as you will see, is going to take care of all the steps. It's going to give you the receipt for your payment, confirmation, etc., etc. You can certainly do what I did, spending a lot of time, doing research to find the information that were allowing me to make step-by-step progress in my online course creation. If you go ahead and research how to create an online course, you will see how many resources you can find, how many great articles, how many steps actually that you can take. But guess what? If you do it all this by yourself, it will take you lots of time. There is the risk that you're going to get stuck because you might have some resistance that that are showing up in some areas. And the way I can help you with my course is that I give you a framework to follow. I already give you the steps to put in place. And then as a coach, as a leadership coach that work also a lot in the personal development area, I can help you to not only putting in place what you want, but also overcome those kind of blocks, those kind of resistance that you might have. For example, lots of people get stuck because at a certain point they have the fear that the course is not going to be perfect, that their videos are not going to be okay. They feel maybe some shame to appear, on a video camera in front of potentially the entire world. So all of these roadblocks are part of the process. And unless you're very determined and you are, very strong in taking actions despite your fears, and be also persistent to go ahead with all the steps, chances are that you're going to get stuck, and it's going to take you a lot of time to do all of this. You have the advantage in my course to have your personal coach that is not there physically present with you, but in somehow it is like if he is, okay? Every single step I share in the online program I built is very simple, very concrete, and it's going to give you exactly what you need to know in order to go to the implementation phase, okay? So in all the units, you will have videos where I'm going to explain you the essential stuff. Then you have attached resources with step-by-step indicating what you have to do. If you get stuck, if you're not clear about what I'm asking you to do, if you are unsure about what you should do, you reach me out and I'm going to help you, okay? Then, based on the investment you're going to decide to make, there are also coaching calls that we will have, and I will support you anyway via chat and via email. Okay, so this is what I have to offer you. Go ahead, read all the content you have on this page, all the information. Again, if you have any questions because what you read is not clear, feel free to contact me. Okay, I'm not going to push you to enroll at all costs. I will be the first one to say, look, this program is not for you. And this will be based, guess on what? On your level of motivation. Where there is a will, there is a way. If your why, if your motivation is strong, then this program I'm offering is for you. If you're still unsure, if you feel that maybe this is not what you want to do, and you attended this webinar just because you were curious, that's absolutely fine. Maybe your level of conviction will increase in the future, So it's not necessarily that it must happening now. We reached the end of this webinar. I want to thank you again for all your time, for all your focus. I really hope, of course, we are going ahead and you're going to choose me as a coach for this journey you are going to start. If this is not happening, thank you anyway so much. I really hope what I share in this course is going to help you. And please feel free to contact me, in the future for any kind of support you might have. You can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook. My email is katyusha@katyushabaggio.com. Wishing you all the best for your future. And remember, if you hear that little call inside you, pay attention to it, because that's your life that is calling you.